sounded different than last week, right? The song. It was a different recording, and what we can't see here, but if you want to watch later, it is actually Faith Rivera and Harold Payne, and it's such a good video that you're going to want to see it, and it'll help you appreciate what you're hearing right now. The other is a more, well, the other one was recorded a little differently. Yes, and but it doesn't have them in it, and this is just so beautiful. So if you get a chance, you know, you can forget about the rest of watching this service again, but watch this because it's very good, and we're so grateful to both of them. All right, well, in the way of transformation, we read, "You are the one, given the infinite power of the mind of God to see through the eyes of love, to rest in perfect safety, and to embrace all that comes to you in the simple reality that you have called it to you, as a challenge perhaps, but always as an opportunity to expand your commitment to love." So here's a few questions for us this morning. Are we expanding in our commitment to love? To love ourselves unconditionally, which means no negative self-talk, no putting ourselves down, no feelings of unworthiness. Are we loving others as ourselves unconditionally, which means no negative talk about others, no putting others down, no judgments of their worthiness? That commitment is a tough one when it seems there is so much to judge about ourselves and the world around us. But this world is full of contrast for a good reason. And though there seems to be nothing bad is happening, we are happening. And we want the contrast. We're here in this human environment to expand our awareness of the infinite power that we've been given to choose. Without contrast, without this and that and those and them and us, we'd have no opportunity to choose who we want to be and how we want to be. And we couldn't expand our self-expression. We just come into this world with a thud and never become lighter and more free and more powerful in our spirit, which is who we are, who we were when we came, and we remain that right now. So, are we allowing all the stuff that is happening in our life and in the world around us to expand our individual awareness of the infinite power we've been given to create a life that we enjoy living in this world? Are we choosing to focus only on what we want, no matter how tempting it may be to focus on the unwanted and talk about it? And are we living with the joyous awareness and simple reality that we are calling the wanted to us? Are we living out loud as ourself and extending the love that we are no matter what? Because we are becoming more and more aware that this world of contrast, where stuff happens, is a gift for us to use. A gift that allows us to connect the dots between the invisible and the visible, between what we're thinking and how we're feeling and how our life is looking. Are we discovering a little more each day? Our freedom to be our unhidden self, confident that even as we are right now, we are more than enough. Do we practice our freedom to choose? Do we choose well-being over worry? Do we choose love over anger and fear? Do we choose peace over anxiety and conflict? Do we choose joy over sadness and abundant thinking over thoughts of lack? And do we do this because each time we choose and see the results of our choices, we expand our awareness of our awesome power to create a life? Are we doing just a little bit of that? If we are, we are fulfilling our goal and our God purpose in being here. Our holy intention for coming into this world of this and that. On the other hand, and in this world of this and that, there's always another hand. Rather than spiritually expanding, are we humanly bloating in our mind? At least that's where it begins. By inflating our egoic perceptions with defensiveness and a need to be understood or a need to be right? Are we gathering from living this life more and more evidence to prove to ourselves that we're simply a bystander when it comes to how we experience life in this world, and that everything happens willy-nilly? Who knows why? But it doesn't have anything to do with us. Are we piling up more and more judgments about the behavior of others and focusing on those behaviors? Do we feel weighted down by fear of what goes on in this world? And are we hiding under layers of distrust and feelings of vulnerability? Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "Let us take our bloated nothingness out of the path of the divine circuits. Let us unlearn our wisdom of the world." Our spirituality has to be experienced. It can't be learned. And we experience more and more of it as we unlearn what has been keeping us from that experience. We can unlearn the idea that we're separate from our spiritual goals because we're separate from God and each other. We can unlearn that. We can unlearn our old stories of a limited, flawed, helpless, powerless self. We can unlearn that no matter how much proof we've got. All the knowledge we've gained from the wisdom of the world is but nothingness compared to one moment of experience with the infinite mind of God within us. One moment. If we would decide to stop retaining negative concepts of ourselves and others that, like excess fluid in the body, cause our life to manifest in unhealthy ways, the bloated nothingness within our mind that has been keeping us from enjoying our life would disappear. The path of our divine circuits would be clear so that we'd be aware of our spiritual nature. It would be easy to feel. It would be clear to know. We'd feel the inner vitality and energy and enthusiasm and incredible lightness of our true being. And we just let the rest go. Now, as you know, we say a lot that God is all there is to all that is, no matter how what is appears to be in any moment. And we'll stand by that. I mean, it's simple. But our thinking otherwise so often gets in the way and causes swelling in our brain that makes our life seem difficult and confusing. When we judge the possibilities of any life, including our life, based only on what we can see with our eyes, what we can see physically around us, we miss out on experiencing more of the multi-dimensional God of creation that is all there is to all that is. In other words, if we're not looking for a more extended view of life than this physical one, we miss out on the expansiveness of the greater part of who we are. That's non-physical, vibrational, spiritual, energetic, and that's where our power lies. It's been said, but no one knows by whom, of the multidimensional, non-physical source of life that fills the universe and responds to all life, including our life, every moment. In science, we call it the field. In religion, we call it spirit. In the streets, we call it vibes. In wellness, we call it energy. In the intuitive, we call it intuition. All I'm saying is trust it. Accumulating what we believe about ourselves and life from the world we see doesn't make our acceptance that God is all there is easy or even logical. But that's what trust is. It's trusting in that which we can't see. It's having faith in the invisible. This world is results oriented because that's all there is to this world. All we see are the results of our collective agreement as a world, as a country, and our individual thinking about life. This world can't do anything on its own. It doesn't have a life of its own without our thoughts. And it's our thoughts that cause it to appear the way it does. It has no power except the power we as spiritual beings give to it. To live as spiritual beings and welcome the contrast of this human experience, we have to live by faith and not by sight. We have to learn to trust in the invisible, non-physical, all-knowing, all-powerful, always present, always for us, life force behind what we see. We came into this world to experience more of the God that lives in us. In the way of knowing, we read, the desire to know God must necessarily be within each soul, since God is your reality. Love is the essence of what you are. If God is love, and love is the essence of what you are, this can only mean that the essence of you is God. Right here, right now, with not one thing that must be done to earn it, to shape it, to get it. Our ability to create the life we want, our sense of security and well-being, our experiences of health, happiness, freedom, and the abundant good that is life, and our feelings and expressions of love, joy, and peace, all of it depend upon where we believe God is and what we believe God is to us. If we believe that God is always good, that's good. But if we believe that God isn't always there all the time, in us, through us, or as us, then it's easy to believe that whatever else is there instead of God has power over us. Living as the powerful spiritual beings we are, as we walk this earth life, depends upon our acceptance that God lives in us all the time. That the pure, positive source energy of love that not only created all that is, but continues to create all that is, including us, because we is. Spirituality and the peace and power within us can't be learned from outside of us. It has to be experienced through moment-to-moment choice and practice. So, more questions for this morning. Are we ready to believe that God is all there is to who we are? Are we ready to live as one who carries the multi-dimensional self of God within us wherever we are? Are we ready to accept that we're God in a human birthday suit? We can't have it both ways. We can't trust that God is all there is and not believe that God is right where we are. And we can be certain that we're not believing God is right where we are if we're still trying to become spiritual, so that we'll finally be connected to that which is beyond the physical and become something we're not already. The wishy-washiness of such thinking, the belief that God is all there is except when there's something else, will be reflected in the life we create for ourselves and in the way we see the world. We've all, always been a creator because God lives in us and always has. We've all been creating our life all this time, either intentionally or by default. It's nothing new. It's not even hard to do. The newness comes with a more expanded awareness that we can create it our way. In the way of transformation, we read in every moment of your experience. What you experience is coming from within you. It is not placed in you from a source outside of yourself. In every moment, you remain free to observe and to notice whether you are having a good time being where you are. That is, being in your perception of life and recognizing you have the power to think differently. Every moment, we have an opportunity to perceive our life, no matter what's going on, to perceive it differently, to see beyond the obvious, to view it in a more expansive, multi-dimensional way, and in a far more powerful way. We're free to think differently from our family and our friends and a whole lot of other people on the planet. And we don't have to explain ourselves to anyone. We can decide that all that matters is for us to trust the guidance of our unseen but not unfelt inner being. It always knows what we want because it is the God in us. We're free to live the moments of our life as a powerful spiritual being because we are that, right here and right now, with no need to earn it or shape it or get it. The more we choose to trust in the unchangeable, multi-dimensional inner self that lives within us and is the greater part of us. And to see our human self as a perfect vibrational spiritual energy form, reflecting our ever expanding awareness. The more we start noticing how well our life flows by itself and how well we are cared for as we flow with it without resistance. Faith in the power of the unseen opens our eyes to the recognition that life is good, always, right where we are. Abraham Hicks tells us, if you know that all is well, you know all you need to know. Namaste. All right. Well, just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you again. So happy you're here. So happy you're there. And you look little and round, but I know you are expansive too. And we feel you. We are so grateful that we are coming together and growing as a spiritual community. And we know that there's more to come. And we are excited about that. There is so much excitement here at LEC. I love that your hearts are so enthusiastic and your minds are so open to being in the wonderment of what is and in the anticipation of what's next. There's so much more for LEC to do. And if you would like to be a part of that or feel a part of that, and you don't know how to support us financially because that's what's required for us to continue to expand and move forward in this world. If you're wondering how to do that and make your experience of coming to visit with us even more meaningful for you, then our treasurer, Dr. Jamie Phillips, is here to tell you how.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, thank you for that talk. I feel like I lost 5 pounds of worldly bloat. That was great. Okay, if you would like to donate to the Life Enrichment Center, and we'd love to have you donate, you can do so on Facebook, facebook.com/Life Enrichment Center. You can do so via our website, lecflint.com. There's a donate button on that site. You can go to PayPal, and our email for PayPal that you need to type in if you want to donate is lec2512@gmail.com. And lastly, you can send a check to our P.O. Box, which is Life Enrichment Center, P.O. Box 321-294, Flint, Michigan 48532. And in the sanctuary, we'll be doing an offertory while we listen to Daniel Namad and Nemo Patel doing the song Grateful, a beautiful song, and then we'll listen to Reverend Stephanie's prayer of appreciation. Thank you.